I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Hello everybody, and welcome in. Testing 1, 2, 3. How are we? It's your boy here. We're live a little bit earlier than posted in the socials yesterday, and that's because, well, the community, the admin staff, myself, and many people are involved around the community, the GTRC, and all our other league networks have been working feverishly around the clock to try and figure out the live broadcasting issue that has recently developed since our last update here in Gran Turismo 7. And lo and behold, some great minds, some big brain plays. We think we have a solution to live broadcasting. So, call this a test, ladies and gentlemen. It is round 4 of the GTRC, Gran Turismo Racing Community GT4 Championship Series. We're here at Lego Maggiore, and boy oh boy, this track is fun. I absolutely love this racetrack. It is a doozy. It's very difficult. There's lots of high-speed corners. You can really use track liberties here. It's going to provide for some good racing. However, we have a pretty small lobby. But with that being said, not going to change the fact that these 7 or 8 drivers are going to continue to put on a really crazy race here. So, I mean, what else could we say? But let's get into Lago Maggiore. It's an interesting track, so we got something a little new for everybody here tonight, and I hope we all enjoy this. Huge shout out to my newest special operations administrator, Miss Devious here at GT45 Gaming. She had a great idea over the last couple of weeks here between round 3 and round 4 here today. And this is what that great idea was, ladies and gentlemen. An absolutely spectacular, very detailed track map for everybody to take a peek at. We're going to get diggy down with Maggiore here, and there's a lot of cool information in this map, so a huge shout out to Miss Devious, ladies and gentlemen. She is in this lobby here today as well, for supplying such an amazing piece of artwork here for us to throw up on the stream and bring up to you guys. So a little bit of topic conversation here. Let's talk about the racetrack. Let's talk about the race. It's going to be racing medium tires required here today, ladies and gentlemen. It's the only tire the drivers are allowed to use. They are not required to make a tire change. There is no maximum amount of tires these drivers are allowed to use. They can stop as many times as they choose to, and they can switch as many switch as many sets of tires as they want. This is entirely up to each individual driver how they opt to take their strategy out here today. It is 3 times fuel, 3 times fuel and 4 times tire wear during the series. So every time around Maggiore here in Italy today, these drivers are using up 3 laps worth of fuel and 4 laps worth, 3 laps worth of fuel, tires and 4 laps worth of fuel. So, fuel could be an issue here today. I've done some extensive car testing here on this track in the last couple of weeks as well myself as the broadcaster. I do like to try and have an idea of what the drivers are up against in each individual car, and from the most part, from what I could tell, fuel may be an issue here in today's race. Let's talk about the track a little bit. We have 8 minutes, so we got lots of time to go through this absolutely beautiful piece of artwork here. Length of Maggiore, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Grand Prix circuit, of course, is 61 miles. That relates to 5.8 kilometers. It has 17 left and right hand turns. It is a tarmac type of road surface. It is an original track, and it is 243 feet in the highest point of this racetrack to the lowest point of this racetrack. So a ton of elevation change here at Maggiore. Now, it is an interesting racetrack. It has a lot of, as you just seen on the map here, elevation change, and of course it has a lot of undulating corners as well. Let's see who we got out on track here. There we go. We got Boo Fushidar here. I'm just watching some of the guys run some final tuning laps here while we're talking. So, as you can see on the map here, there's a little blue arrow right in the dead center of the map right there. It has a little blue circle with an arrow. That is the start-finish line. From there, we head around the racetrack into turns 1, 2, and 3. Turns 1 and 2, very, very tight corners. We come into turn 3, which is a sweeping corner, into another very tight elbowed corner at turn 4, followed up by a fairly lengthy straightaway. At the end of that straightaway is a kind of 2 corners into 1 corner situation. Very hard, long, sweeping hairpin. From there, we come uphill into a set of S corners from there. That's going to relate into a little straightaway that kinks into a very long straightaway and comes into turn 11 right at the bottom left-hand side of the track and the map in front of you, ladies and gentlemen. And turn 11 is a steep corner. It is what we like to call Big Banky here in Gran Turismo 7. It is a interesting, very large bank corner. You come at it with a full rate of speed from a very long run into the straightaway, and you come out at a fairly high rate of speed at the exit if you get it just right. From there, you come into a subtle set of S's, followed up by 3 little hairpin turns, and then of course turn 17, which is a high-speed sweeping corner up to that start-finish line. So 17 corners. Turn 1 has lots of potential for passing, under braking, and upon the exit. Drivers have a very short window to get their car set up for the next turn. They should be careful not to apply too much throttle too soon, as it may allow the car to break traction, and that is absolutely for sure. And we'll talk a little bit more about this as the race progresses, of course, unless the drivers don't allow us to do so. But just a little peek at what Maggiore has in store. And also on that map, you can see all these little blue arrows on the side of the map too. That is where all our flaggers on the racetrack is. That's where their boosts are, so that's where the drivers are taking notice of any flags as they come around. If there's an incident on track, those flaggers are waving yellow flags from those little boosts. And the little yellow or orange arrows, pardon me, are the electronic flagging station. So those are the flashing lights that we see in certain parts of the racetrack. We have one just coming into the big bank corner here, actually, that's kind of used as a brake marker here, actually, for most of the drivers. So there's electronic flaggers and of course real life flaggers as well. Let's go GT45 Gaming. How goes, buds? In for a quick like, share, bomb before I head out to the real mad world. Hey, good luck in the real mad world, my dude. Keep it kilting, keep it kilting. Coming in with that like and that share, much love. So let's get back to things at hand here. It's going to be an interesting race today. It's a small grid. I'm really surprised to see such a small grid here today. But it is what it is. That's racing, folks. Not every car makes it on track every week, and sometimes, just sometimes, that's the way it goes. So let's jump over and let's take a look. We got some guys just throwing down some practice laps here right now. So we do have Hair Razor with the Mustang here on track today. We do have Boo Fushidara in Team Ferrari on track here today. We do have Penelope here for Team Aston on track here today. We've got Miss Devious for Team Toyota GR86 here today as well. We have CRF for Corvette, Team Corvette here today on track. And 6th here is Doug for Team Lexus. We have Apex Racing's Pigums in Team Supra, so Team Toyota Supra. And we've got Roses here for Maggiore Trophy. So we have 8 currently. We might see some more pop in here yet, but Small grid here today, small grid here today. We had a little bit of transition going on here at the Gran Turismo racing community over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and of course a transition sometimes comes a couple of weeks of quiet racing, and that seems to be the case here this week. So the GTRC stiffened up the rules and the regulations a little bit in the series. We took some time to modernize the rule sets and the regulation sets, of course, with the growth of sim racing in the leagues. So lots of changes have been made here over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's just a lot for the community to take in. So with that, sometimes it just means that we lose some guys on the racetrack for a day or for a week or two, for a round or two, while everybody kind of settles into the adjustments. But it's looking juicy. It doesn't matter if we have 4 of these drivers on the racetrack. In all honesty, this pro division is just so close in pace. This is going to be an interesting race here today with only 8 drivers. We could see these 8 drivers nose to tail all race long here. One mistake at Maggiore is going to cost you time here, and it doesn't need to be a big mistake. It could just be a little mistake, and it will cost you big time here. So yeah, the drivers are just getting ready to start qualifying here. Qualifying starts in just a couple of minutes time. So what we'll see is we'll see the lobby reset. Once that lobby resets, we'll jump back in. Qualifying will be underway. I believe the drivers are going to get 1 out lap and 4 hot laps for qualifying here today. And then it'll be time to go racing. And we're going to see how this live broadcasting goes. We have found a couple of things that do help for live broadcasting, so we're going to put it to the test live here for everybody today, and hopefully everything works out good. And of course we can get this information out to all our networks and our other leagues out there running if they haven't figured it out for themselves already. Obviously each league's in the same situation here currently with the most recent update right now, where we're having to find ways to still continue to broadcast live, which is the tricky part of the newest update right now. It doesn't affect necessarily the racing or anything like that in the lobbies. The racing is still remaining the same. I think that they've done a great job as far as that goes. It's just that new VR update has caused a couple of issues within the matrix, and we have done a lot of testing here over the last day and a half to see what works and see what doesn't work. So we're testing what works. We have Apex Racing's Pigums here. We do have standings here for everybody as well. And actually, you know what? This is a good time to let's get into our standings here. So this is our pro and our pro-am division standings here. Let's bring our pro guys and gals up first, obviously, since this is the division we're sitting on. And let's see where all our drivers are sitting at. Hold on, let me make some magic happen here. There we go. Alright, so the lobby just has been reset, so we are going to start qualifying here right away. So I'm actually going to remove those for the time being so we don't miss any qualifying. Alright. A double reset, which is usually what we see when we reset the lobby for official race times. So it does look like it's going to be 8 drivers here in our pro division today. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen, today. And should be a good race. Alright, so we have a few extra options that were added in as well for information, which is fantastic, but we don't need any of it. So it does look like it is Doug out first on track here today, so we're going to follow Doug Burrow around Maggiore here, and this is just an outlap here, so we're just going to chill. We're going to see the order of everybody there. We got Doug, followed by Pigums, followed by Miss Devious, followed by Penelope, followed by Hair Razor. As soon as these guys cross the live timing sectors, of course, what you've seen on the track map, of course, that'll start to readjust our finishing order, and then it'll be go time. So it's a very, very, very fun circuit here too, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know how the picture is. We do officially have the 1080p kicked on here. If you're watching on YouTube, 1080 is now an option. I hope everybody enjoys. Let me know how it looks. Let me know how it's working. But it is most certainly there now. So, fantastic. That's what we love to hear as well. And please do feel free to make sure everything sounds and looks fantastic. It's untested since we've finally found the setting we needed to find to get the 1080p to kick. So I hope everybody enjoys it. I hope it just makes it that much more enjoyable for everybody. So we're just coming through into the final sectors here now. Now we're going to come into a series of corners which relates into a hairpin. So it's two right-hand corners that relates into a really high-speed sweeping hairpin, essentially. So it's two corners that's kind of bridged into one big corner. And then we've got this sweeping right-hander followed up by a very high-speed sweeping right-hander here. And this leads us into the start-finish line. So let's jump on board with Doug Burrow here. And let's do a lap around Lago Maggiore as soon as I get back to Doug here. Oh, and he's going to come into pit lane. So who are we jumping on board with here? It's going to be Apex Racing's Pigums, I believe. There it is. Alright, so coming into turn 1 here, you want to be braking at the end of the fence at the wall. We come in, you got to set this up right away. You want to get as much of this curb as you can up into second gear before you get on the throttle. Right away, you want to put 2 tires over this white line and roll for a late apex here. That keeps you on the left-hand side of the racetrack. As soon as it flattens out, you're on the brakes, rotating into this corner. Clip that apex full on the throttle. Do not be scared to use that exit. You can really use liberties around this racetrack here. We're going to stay down this long straight all the way to the left side. Right at the end of this gray curve, we're going to see him let off and start to brake. We're going to see a shift down into third gear. He's going to roll through this corner and back on the power as soon as possible. Use all this exit. Move over to the left side to prepare for these S's. Midway through the curb here, we're going to see just a little tap for rotation. He is going to swing this car into that curb, and here you can use all the racetrack. You can see Pigsman is using all of it. Cut the curbs, use as much of it as you can. And let's see what he does here. He's going to keep it on the left side of this sausage here, and he's just going to clip these apexes. He's going to move it over to the left-hand side to this long downhill straight run to what we like to call the Big Bank corridor. We call this one Big Banky. So we're going to come down here right at the 50-meter board, electronic flagging station right here. You're on the brakes, down into third gear. You're going to roll it through for a late apex and on the power immediately. You want to be coming out of here at about 93, 96 miles an hour ideally. Here, we're just going to take a late apex gentle curve to set up the next corner. Much of the same thing. We're going to take a late apex here, clip that curve, let the car slowly unload. From there, at the 50-meter board, we're going to turn in. We're going to shift down into fourth, third gear to get extra rotation. Pull it back up the racetrack to set up the second part of this hairpin. Tuck that in and on the throttle here. Roll it all the way up to the curb. Roll this around blind corner here. You got to stay steering left. You stay straight, you're going to go off the track. Right about here, we're on the brakes. Roll into this apex and then hammer on that throttle. Take it all the way wide, and we're going to see what Piggums has here as he comes around in qualifying on his first lap here. We got Miss Devious just in behind. It's going to be a 204.9. That is a lap there from Piggums. Miss Devious is going to come in with a 207, so another ideal lap there. What do we have from Hair Razor as he's coming around here? He's got Roses and Penelope all tucked in here. A 204.9 is flying around here, ladies and gentlemen. That was a great lap there by Piggums. And Hair Razor is going to come in with a P3. It's Roses is going to stay in P4. And Penelope jumps up into P5. All right. Where's Doug? Doug is going to stay in 6th. CFR is coming around here right now. He's going to move up into 3rd place. And Boo Fushidara, our last driver out on track here, is going to come around. And what is he going to grab for a time here? 204.9 being the target. And that is blazing fast, ladies and gentlemen. That is very quick here. And it's going to be a 205.2 from Boo Fushidara. So it's Piggums with a 204.9. It's Boo Fushidara with a 205.2. It's Miss Devious with a 207 flat. So these drivers have some time to make up here. CRF with a 207.5. Hair Razor with a 208.5. Roses with a 9.9. Penelope with a chalked lap. Doug with a chalked lap. So a couple of our drivers not having the best of laps there in the first lap of qualifying, and right now it belongs to Apex Racing's Piggums. And all through practice over the last couple of weeks, I have not seen any driver put in a 204 yet. So this man is flying in qualifying. What are the chances we're going to see that during the race? Probably not going to see a 204 during race pace. These drivers are going to need to consider their tires and their fuel here at Maggiore. Right now, it's not a factor as much. They're trying to get the fuel burned off in these cars and get these tires scrubbed in so they can put a time like this in to try and get the fastest lap they can for the best starting position in the race. So we're going to see a couple more laps from each of these drivers here as we're coming around. And we have this nice little group here, and that might work out. Penelope's opted just to get out into some clean air here as well, and that might not be the worst thing in the world. It's great to slipstream if it works out, but if the drivers in front aren't working, it's a 204.7 now from Apex Racing's Piggums. Wow, he is moving today. He has now got 4 tenths on Bufu Shidara here, who's currently sitting in second. And Miss Devious drops that down to a 2:06.5, so she definitely cuts into that time. Hair Razor's going to bounce up with a 2:05.5 into P3 there as well. Doug jumps up into P4 with a 2:05.8. Penelope up into P5 with a 2:06.1. So here we go. Roses with a 2:06.1, dropping Miss Devious down all the way to P7 here. And CRF with a 2:06.5, and that puts him in P8. So these drivers are flying around Maggiore here, and that is only a P8 position. So this is going to be a very quick race here today. Oh my. We're going to see some laps put down, folks. We're going to put some laps down today. So it is Pigums, and Bufu Shidara still sitting in second. He doesn't improve on that time, but the consistency is insanely close right there. He literally barely 2/100ths of a second off his first time put in. So that's a pretty good consistency right there by Bufu Shidara. And all these drivers are really starting to put some times in here. And none of them are really close to that mark here. So let's see. Everybody's just being patient here. We're going to stay on board with Apex Racing's Pigums here, ladies and gentlemen, as obviously he is our first guy on the racetrack here currently, and currently sitting in pole position. And the only driver in the 204s here so far on the racetrack as well. So Apex Racing Pigums has definitely come out to play here today. And we'll bring those standings back up for you guys in just a moment here. Once qualifying is finished up here, we'll get that stuff back on the screen for everybody, let you guys all take a look at where our standings are sitting in both our divisions, of course, and let you guys decide who you think has it for the win here today. Very early on, I see two drivers are really standing out from the rest, and that is Pigums and Bufu Shidara. We got Hair Razor here. That Mustang's looking solid. He improves last time around with a 2:05.5. Doug Bear with a 2:05.8. These guys are all coming around that final corner here right now. So let's jump on board with Hair Razor here and see where that leaves him as he comes across. And it's not an improvement there. Roses does improve with a 2:05.5, moving him just ahead of Doug there. So a little bit of position swapping here. Miss Devious coming in with a 2:05.9. Penelope, what's she going to have here? She just came across her with a 2:07, so she's not getting the best laps in here currently in qualifying. And CRF comes through with a 2:06.9. So, ooh, it's going to be close. This could be a good race, chat. A little bit of difference between these drivers here currently, but again, race pace and qualifying pace are two very different things here, ladies and gentlemen. And these guys can literally run these cars full out and just send it here during qualifying, as long as, of course, you don't put them into the wall and ruin your chances of making the race. But yeah, they can send it in race time. You can't necessarily do that. If somebody has a better strategy than you, then that's just going to be more hurtful than it is helpful. So we got Doug with a half-second penalty. That's going to wash that lap for Doug. And we're going to expect to see a flyer from Penelope here, I think, this final chance. So all these drivers look like they're on their final laps here. That is the case. Stick it with Pigums as he's coming around here. And I believe it's Miss Devious just in behind him here. So let's see what Pigums does here as he comes around. Oh, and he gets that super just slideways around that corner, as the great Nolander would say there. And that sometimes isn't the worst thing in certain corners. It may actually gain him some time around there. So he is purple as he was coming around. I didn't know if he could find any more time in that car, but oh boy, let's see. And he is just locked in. You can just see he has a handle on this race car. Pigums is going to come around and improve this lap yet, I think. Let's see what he puts in. 2:04.8 for Pigums. So it's Miss Devious next here. Let's jump on board with Miss Devious and see if she can improve here. It's going to be a 2:06, so it's going to put her up into P6. I believe we have Hair Razor next here, and it's going to be Roses getting the job done there. These two are battling here in qualifying. Hair Razor is just going to back out, so let's jump on with Roses here. It looks like he's on a flyer. What is Roses going to do here? It's a 2:05 flat. That's going to put him up into P3, so that was a great lap there from Roses. Doug does not seem to improve there. Let's jump on board with Penelope here. She comes around for her final lap. It is going to be a P4 from Penelope with a 2:06.1, and I believe that leaves CRF the last to come across the line here today, and he is going to improve as well with a 2:06.503, and that's still going to leave him in P8. So I believe that is all our drivers here, ladies and gentlemen. This Bufu Shidara is just coming. He just came around with a 2:04.8, so he's going to secure second place and almost steals pole there. So two drivers in those 204s here today, Bufu Shidara at Apex Racing's Piggums, but pole position does indeed belong to Apex Racing's Piggums. So our pro standings coming into round 4, these are official, ladies and gentlemen. It is Apex Racing's Piggums in the lead with 52 points. Sikkim, who is no longer in the series, in second with 45 points. Bufu Shidara now owns second place with 45 points, with Sikkim out of the series. And Mike Mates is going to technically be sitting there in, Miss Devious is sitting in third place with 27. We have Petrolhead in fourth with 26 points. We have Ibra with 26 points, also tied for fourth place there. Apex Jakey with 26 points. So you can see how close these guys are, especially in the middle pack here. Tattooed Freak with 22, CRF with 21, Penelope with 17, Doug with 16. We got Hair Razor with 15, Roses with 13, and then a couple other drivers there near the bottom. Let's bring up our other division standings here. This race is underway as well as we speak. Nolander will be bringing that to us here a little bit later. So in our Pro-Am side, it is Apex Racing's Bar in first place with 48 points. Is Trone Colby with 43. Tap in third with 41. Is Bo Snipe with 37. Type R in fourth with 33. Throwing, yeah, right there tied with 33 points is Tagger with 31. Formula One right behind with 22 points. Magic Man with 22 points. 750 with 20. Chip Reese with 16. Bandit right behind him with 15 points. A Dude and Pappy with 7 and 2. Action Jackson looking for his first race of the season here tonight as well, ladies and gentlemen. So there we go. Bubba Bofek coming in with that like and that share. How are we, my guy? How are you doing, dude? Alright, everything is looking beautiful so far. The stream's running good. That's most important. And it's in 1080p now, ladies and gentlemen, so I hope everybody enjoys the high-def viewing as well. We finally got it all sorted out here at GT45 Gaming. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is presented by the Gran Turismo Racing Community. I am your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. This is a family-friendly broadcast, so definitely okay for the kids to sit back and come enjoy the action here as well. And sponsored by Apex Racing Team and GT45 Gaming, ladies and gentlemen. So what we're just seeing here is drivers are just chilling. They're going to have a slight little break, and then we're going to kick it off into race time. I cannot leave this screen now. If I leave this screen, we're not going to be able to bring this race to you guys live. So we're along for the Gran Turismo ride here, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a minute since I've been through. Hey, facts. Hey, it's a two-way street there, man. I haven't been through your way in a while either, my dude. Haven't been your way in a while either. Appreciate you coming in, though. Got Paymay in the house. What's good, Paymay? Coming in with that like on the stream as well. Kilty coming in with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shares as well. Much love, my dude. Appreciate you. We're just checking on YouTube. We're checking on everything. Everything's looking juicy. Alright. So we like to see, chat. So we like to see. So, we made an announcement on the page. A commentary may be affected due to the most recent update. That is still the case. This is a live test run of a workaround that the community and everybody involved has come up with. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Kick them tires, light them fires. It's time to go racing. We got 8 drivers on the grid, and it is led by Apex Racing's Piggums sitting on pole position here today. And we are about to get underway. Yeah, we're green, and we're racing, folks, and here we are. So it is Apex Racing Piggums here in the lead. Bufu Shidara gets a great launch there in a Ferrari, and he is going to have the outside coming into turn 1 here. You got Apex Roses tucked in, Hair Razor tucked right in there as well in turn 1. Ooh, a little bit of contact there between Piggums and Bufu Shidara, but no harm, no foul done there. Penelope looking up the inside here. She's going to grab a position on Hair Razor. Now she's going to try and get the job done on Roses. However, Roses has the inside line at turns 3 here. And coming into turn 4, it is going to be Penelope, though. And just Penelope now with the position on Roses. Tiny little bit of contact between those two drivers, and it's 2x2, 2 deep through there is Doug Barrow and Hair Razor side by side as well. And it is a drag race in behind Bufu Shidara at Apex Racing Piggums. Bufu Shidara off to a very, very quick early start. He's in the lead of this race very early on. We're going to go 3 wide coming into the corner, and that Mustang getting all kinds of squirrely there. And oh, he's going to go a little bit deep as a loose traction in that car just allowed him to go deep in the corner there. And Apex Racing's Piggums gets a great run up the S's into the S's here, and he is on the backside of Bufu Shidara very early on in this race. So Bufu Shidara does take the race lead from Apex Racing's Piggums very early on here, but Apex Racing's Piggums right back on the hunt. So here we go. Ooh, Piggums took a look there, but Bufu Shidara doing a great job defending here very, very early on. And we can't jump out to switch our camera views right now here, ladies and gentlemen, so we're just going to have to make do with what we got to work with here currently. As, again, we're dealing with some malfunctions within the game here since the last update. Bufu Shidara gains a little bit of time coming out of the big bank corner there from Apex Racing's Pick'ems. Let's go see what's going on in behind. We got Penelope all the way up into P3, so she got a great race start here. We have a Doug Barrow up into 4th place, and he has a Mustang right underneath that tail of that Lexus Misdevious, and Rose is side by side in behind there as well for 6th and 7th place. And Rose is going to tuck in. Hair Razor takes a look, but Doug covers it off, and it is a battle nose to tail here so far, or 1 through 8 all the way around our first lap. And ooh, getting a little bit wrong there was Doug as he went a little bit wide, but manages to recover it quite well. So on board with Hair Razor here now in 5th place, and you can see Bufu Shidara and Pick'ems just a little bit of a gap there. Our 3rd place driver right there. All these drivers still easily in contention very early on here in the race today. We've got Misdevious here in 6th place as well. And ooh, is Hair Razor going to take a look up the inside here on Doug? No, Misdevious looking to make some time up under braking here and using all of that entry corner. Now you really do need to do that to set this corner up here, so a great setup there by Misdevious, and she manages to gain a little bit of time, but that Mustang and that Lexus have some great pull in a straight line, so that Toyota A6 struggling to keep up to those 2 cars in a straight line here. She's got Roses tucked right up in behind her here in P7, and he's got that Corvette of CRF. They're just trailing in behind here in our final 8th place here today in this Pro Division, so quiet lobby here today, but that's not going to change the fact that we're going to see some great racing from these drivers here today. See you later, it says on the front windscreen banner right there. Love it. So a new look coming from Bufu Shidara Team Ferrari here today as well here. You can see as he's got that just a rocking and a rolling. Apex Racing's Pick'ems here in that Toyota Supra, and you can see these guys just rolling through the corner here, and that was a great job by both these drivers. Very equally paced. Now we've seen in qualifying these were the only 2 drivers in the 204s in qualifying, so definitely a little bit more speed out of 2 drivers in the field than the rest. But again, like I said, race pace is a whole different ball game. These guys need to now think about fuel, they need to think about their tire conservation, they need to think about their strategy for the races, and that's the point we're in now. So everybody's already settled into their early on positions here. Now it's just a game of, okay, when do I want to push, when do I want to just chill out? Oh, he made a mistake, so maybe I'm going to make a move here. So we're going to see a lot of patient driving from our drivers here for a little bit. We'll jump back on into cockpit view here, and we will have some TV cameras available at some point throughout the race. We're just going to have to bear with. Again, we are at the mercy of the game here currently, so it's going to hurt the content just a tiny little bit, but we're still here, we're still live, and we're still seeing what's happening right in front of us, and we're not having to do it via a replay. So as a broadcaster, that makes me pretty happy about that. So just Penelope really starting to close up here on our 2nd place driver, Apex Racing's Pick'ems, and it's been a pretty spicy but calm race here so far is a good way to put it. We got Hair Razor here in 4th place, and a little bit of a gap developing between 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and the back half of the pack here. We got Doug Burrow, who's lost a little bit of space here on Hair Razor as Hair Razor's trying to get into that front group. We've got High Prix Roses here. He's now found his way around Misdevious here in P6, and he's trying to get into this group as well. Now he's got an advantage turning on this racetrack with this McGain trophy, but he does definitely at a disadvantage in a straight line drag race with some of these bigger GT4 cars with the torque and the horsepower. So Roses really needs to get his work done. As you can see, he's doing a great job of that in the twisty and turny bits of the racetrack here, but once he gets into these big straightaways, he's really relying on slipstream to keep him with these higher powered horsepowered cars like the Lexus, like the Supra, like a Corvette for example. Misdevious here in P7 right now. She is just sitting back and watching everything unfold in front of her here right now. She can still see the leader of this race, and she can see that there's a little battle happening up there as well between those two. So no need to really force anything here right now. The point for all of these drivers on the racetrack is just stay close and keep within the fight. But we have a little battle happening right here. between Roses and Doug right now, and Roses is going to send it up the inside here as we're coming into the S's, and Doug's like, oh yeah mate, I can do that too, watch this. So here we go, side by side. And is Doug going to hold that position? He is going to stick Roses to the outside there. He's going to put him out just a little bit onto the curbing there. And Roses is still right there, but he's going to have to just tuck in behind as Doug just manages to hold that position off. But that has allowed Miss Devious to close right back up into this situation. And now Roses looking for his next route around Doug Barrow here for P5. This is a battle for 5th and 6th place. Hey, much love, Honk. How you doing, my dude? Hope you're having a fantastic day, brother. So here we go, Doug Barrow in 5th place, and he is trying to hold High Prix Roses off, and now Miss Devious is back in this fight here as well, as she is tucked right up on the back end of these guys, and that Corvette is looming just off in the background there as well. So there we go, we've got a battle there, just Penelope now up into P2, and she is starting to put pressure all over our leader, Boo Fushidara here as well, so woo-wee. I think we got a couple of little juicy, healthy battles happening here on the racetrack. And we still don't have our camera views quite yet, ladies and gentlemen, but we will get to them as soon as the game allows us to have them here. So Boo Fushidara is really strong in that sector. You can see that Ferrari has really been strong through the technical sectors of Maggiore here today, but it seems like these bigger horsepower cars is kind of where it starts to lose. Apex Racing's Pagums is just chilling right there in 3rd place. He is still on the back of just Penelope here. And no panic from these top 3 drivers right now. They all realize what the situation is, but they also all realize that there is still 52 minutes remaining in this race, and it's very, very far from over. We got Joe coming in with that like as well. Much love, my dude. Oh, red flag race. Gotcha. Gotcha. Alright, so this is the way it's sitting here right now. It's Boo Fushidara in the lead, Penelope in 2nd, Apex Racing's Pickums in 3rd. It's Hairraiser here in the Mustang in 4th place. We got Doug Burrow in the Lexus in 5th with High Prix Racing's Roses, my apologies, sitting here in 6th place. With that Maggiore trophy, we've got Miss Devious here sitting in 7th and a CRF here in 8th. So good points for every one of these drivers. It doesn't even matter which driver finishes in 8th place here today. They are getting fantastic points. So it is a small field of drivers, but good points for everybody here involved today. So what are we going to see for pit strategies? We didn't talk about pit strategies actually before the race. Now, as I was noting in the pre-race, fuel is going to be a little bit of an issue in these cars here today. So it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers opt to manage that with the tires. Now, this track eats tires normally. It's just the nature of this track. It's the undulating corners, the elevation changes, just the nature of this racetrack. It just tears away at tires. But it is also hard on fuel because it is a fairly medium to high speed circuit, which means you're really using up a lot of that RPM in that race car on these straightaways, and that just means that you're using up fuel if you're using up RPM. So yeah, one's going to come with the other. So fuel could very well be an issue in this race. It's really going to come down to the pace of the lobby here today. And these guys are quick, and gals are very quick here today. So we got Roses and Doug battling for position here. Roses is going to be up on the outside, and we're going to go 2 by 2 through the S's, and this is always fun, ladies and gentlemen. This is an acquired skill right here. This is an acquired place to battle, and Roses is just going to tuck in front of Doug Burrow for the time being there, and that was probably a good decision there by Doug Burrow just to tuck in behind Roses, but Roses gets the job done and moves himself up into P5 there. So great battle brewing between these two, but I know Doug, and I know Doug is not going to sit behind Roses for very long. Hey, how you doing, Trucks? Mr. Paul Trucks in the house. Let's go, Miss D, says Joe. Evening, Mr. Paul. Appreciate that like as well on the stream. And Doug is going to take that position back at the end of the straightaway, and there's the difference between these two cars. We're seeing that Lexus really show its prowess on these straightaways against this Maggiore trophy with Roses, but Roses is really showing the prowess of this Maggiore trophy in the twisty technical sectors of this racetrack. Doug cannot lose Roses while he's in these technical sectors, but where that Lexus starts to prove strong is again in those straight lines. But Doug defending really well here, not giving Roses really a look to get a corner, to get a peek, to get a nose in. So a little bit on the defensive end here right now is Doug Burrow, and trying to defend off Roses, but healthy battle here for 5th and 6th place, and just Penelope is now taking over the race lead here as well up front, as I'm not sure when that happened because we're too busy watching that battle, but now it's just Penelope in the lead of this race. So our third race leader and our second lead change of the day now belongs to Penelope here, as Boo Fushidara is in 2nd, Apex Racing's Pickums here is in 3rd, has allowed Hairraiser to really close back up up on this front group, so now this has become a four-way battle for first place potentially. Doug Burrow's only a couple seconds off this pack, so he's not very far away at all. It's going to take one little bobble from somebody in that pack, and he is right back on top of them, and he is bringing Roses along the way with him. And I mean, you can see how much stronger that car is in the corners. You can see the better entries and exits in that trophy. The problem is that Lexus just has a little more oomph underneath the hood of it than the trophy does, and Roses is really struggling trying to find a way around Doug here right now, as Doug is defending very, very well as well. So healthy battle here between these two. Mischievous sitting in behind watching this go down right now, going, all right, you two, one of you make the mistake, give me some free positions here, don't make me have to work for it. But these two definitely working hard here in behind each other and in front of Mischievous. CRF just chilling in the background here as well, playing a little strategy perhaps. Every driver now is thinking about what they're going to do for their pit stops. We got just Penelope on a purple sector here right now as well. And this is what it's looking like in behind her. So Bufu, Shadar, and Pigum, she's broken free of these drivers a tiny little bit as we come into the big bank corner here. And it's side by side with Bufu, Shadar, and Apex Pigums, and Hair Racer is just right there. And you can see the other remaining half of the pack just coming around that big bank corner in behind as well. So great shot there in behind this Aston Martin of just Penelope, and it is her in the lead now, and it's a healthy lead, 1.2 seconds. Bufu Shadara here in second. Fastest lap belongs to just Penelope right now, the 2:05.482 as well. It's Bufu Shadara tailing, and Apex Racing's Pigums here in third. He's just been chilling all race long in behind these drivers. He's just conserving that race car right now. We've got Hair Racer in fourth place, and he's been working hard at trying to catch this pack, and he is now caught up to this pack, so let's see what he can do with that. But just Penelope is starting to open up that lead. We got Doug Burrow in fifth place, and he's starting to lose that front four a little bit here, but Roses is still right there tucked in behind here. Roses has not let Doug go anywhere. He's like, yeah, this battle is far from done, mate. We are not done here. And you can see these two are really working hard right now. And ooh, Roses is going to get an opening here on the inside of the corner. It's going to be side by side as we come around into corner three there. Doug just going a little bit wide there, and he left the door open, and Roses just stuck that McGinn right in there. And he had an opportunity, but he got forced to the outside, and he's going to go deep here. Can he get the job done? Ooh, he's going to go really wide into the corner here to avoid any contact there. And does that allow him to get the job done there? Side by side, it is a drag race between this McGinn and this Lexus, and that McGinn trophy can just not seem to find its way around, and Roses goes a little bit deep there, and that's going to be a little bit of a breathing room there for Doug, as Roses just went a little deep there and off track, and now he's probably going to lose that position to Miss Devious here as well, as she's coming up the racetrack. No, she's just going to settle in behind here, so some different strategies at play for some of these drivers here. Let's see how it all works out. CRF is just in behind here, and he's just watching all this go down. He's like, yeah, you guys just keep wearing your race cars out. We'll see what you have compared to me at the end of the day. But it is Penelope in the lead in that Aston Martin, and she is flying today. The Bufu Shadara chasing here, and we still don't have those TV cameras yet, but they're coming. They're coming, ladies and gentlemen, I promise. Apex Racing's Pigums here in third place, and he is chasing. We're doing a little regression here with the updates just to continue our forward progression here within the game, but we are live, and it's been looking real good here so far. Some good battling happening, and Apex Racing's Pigums really not opting to battle. He's just sitting in behind. The pace is good and healthy at the two cars in front of him. He must be happy about that. We have not really seen Pigums opt to battle. We've just seen him stay and remain patient, and ooh, a little bit of gain there. You can see he had to just avoid contact with Bufu Shadara there a little tiny bit. So that's why we seen him just dodge over to the right there a little bit. Might have been a little glitch or a little lag right there. Hair Racer here in fourth place. We got Doug in fifth, and ooh, look at that sky. Look at that sky. Now, the weather model is random here, ladies and gentlemen, and rain can most certainly factor in here at Maggiore. So, with that being said, the drivers may potentially be paying attention to that weather radar here, as it went from really nice, dry, sunny conditions here on the racetrack to overcast and looking pretty gloomy, maybe even seeing some rain up in the mountains there up ahead. So we are at, of course, the Andes Mountains here with Lago Maggiore, ladies and gentlemen. It's just at the base of the mountains, so anything's possible here. But definitely looking a little gloomy right now on the racetrack, which means the track temperature is cooling down, so that's going to change the car. It's going to change the setup of the car, the way the car is reacting. It's going to change the grip levels on the racetrack as well. That might be a good thing with the tires starting to wear down for some of these drivers. The cooler track temperatures might allow for those little more worn down racing tires to find a little extra traction as well. So maybe not the worst thing for some of the drivers right now with that cooler track, but it does tend to tighten up your race car in a sense as well. And if you understand the schematics and the inner workings of a race car, essentially that really makes it hard to get proper corner entry and mid-corner when your car is tight. So changing track conditions definitely change the way the drivers have to approach the racetrack. We got Bufu Shidara here, and he's got almost 2 seconds now from Penelope here, so Penelope's opening up a healthy lead. Piggums is still right there. Hair Razor is just out of slipstream here at the moment, 2.2 seconds in behind in Lap Mustang. We got Doug now up into P5 here still. Rose is right there in P6. We see Miss Devious just in behind here in P7. We got CRF here in P8. So, yeah. Should be seeing pit stops in about another half a dozen laps or so. Huge thumbs up and big love GT45 for proving it can be done. Don't quit, don't stop, reach for the top. I can't take all the credit for this one, Kilt. I appreciate you, dude. I really, really do appreciate you. But this was the community. This was the community as a whole. Several members of the community and the staff, and of course myself, been working very hard over the last day and a half to try and find a way to get this to you guys live still. And huge credit to the community, man. They solved the problem, and they made it workable so that we could do some live broadcasting still. So you know what? Huge love to the sim racing community, because we wouldn't be here right now doing this live for you guys if it wasn't for you guys. So definitely can't take the credit for this one. We definitely got to show that love to the community and all the hard work they put in to sort this out. All those league organizers and their teams out there trying to figure this out. It all goes to them. Definitely goes to them. So huge love to the community. Apex Racing's Piggum's here now in second place, so he has found his way around Bufu Shidara, and I'm assuming just a little bit of a mistake by Bufu Shidara there, because Piggum's again wasn't really battling there, he was just chilling. So Piggum's now in front of Bufu Shidara, and Bufu Shidara is going to tuck in behind him now. Is he going to battle, or is he just going to chill? It's hard to say. We have Hair Razor here, and Hair Razor has closed up to these two just a tiny little bit, so something definitely happened there between one of those two drivers, a self-induced incident, or maybe a little bit of contact. We're unsure at this moment, but here we go again. It is Roses and Doug, and it is nose to tail in 5th and 6th place here. And Doug and Roses have got to be feeling the pressure here by now. And you can see Roses had the big go on the outside there with a little bit of speed, but he got a great exit, and he is right back on the tail of Doug. And actually, these two are starting to gain on Hair Razor here in 4th place, so maybe we're going to stop seeing some battling from these two. Maybe we're going to see a little teamwork to try and grab yet another position. Interesting. I didn't realize, but they are definitely closing in on that Mustang up in front here right now, these two cars together. So where that Lexus is weak, Roses is helping him to get through quicker, and where that McGain Trophy is weak, that Lexus is helping pull him across those straights quicker. So together these two are really starting to make some time up on the racetrack here. This is very interesting. Very, very interesting. You can see they're working together here now. Doug's going to go defensive here. I don't think Roses has the intention of getting past him here. I think Roses realizes they're gaining on that front group right now, and I don't think Roses is too worried about passing Doug right now, but trying to catch that front group. So he's going to go in on a very tight defensive line here, and that's going to be all that's really doing is slowing these two drivers down here right now. And I mean, that's the nature of racing, but I really don't think that Doug realizes that Roses isn't necessarily looking to get around him here, but to try and gain that front group of drivers. We'll have to see. Miss Devious is just about 3 seconds in behind here, and just by what I'm looking at, we definitely seeing some various levels in the fuel tanks. We're definitely seeing some various tire wear on these cars. We'll let you guys take a look at that here in a little bit as well. Love all guys. Awesome to see you guys figured a way. Makes for a better day. Hats off to all of them. Facts, Guilty. Couldn't have said it any better myself. All right. And we're kicking it in 1080p today, ladies and gentlemen. We finally got everything working nice and juicy. Apex Racing's Pickup's 2.2 seconds off the back end of that Aston Martin and Penelope here currently. We have Bufu Shidara in 3rd place. We have Hair Razor in 4th. Now, if you've been following the series from day one, we all know that this means absolutely nothing right now. We're at about the midway point of the race almost here. We're a third of the way through the race at this point right now, 20 minutes in. And these drivers have just settled into their rhythm, their race pace, their routine. These two working very hard together right now to try and catch those drivers up in front. And Rose is in a tough spot here. He's got to deal with dirty air being so tight in the back end of that Lexus there, but doing a really great job, and they are definitely closing in on Hairraiser up ahead there. So these two are doing a pretty good job here right now. It's going to be interesting to see that play out. We have Miss Devious, and she's starting to roll in on these guys a little tiny bit here, I think, as well. And CRF is just in behind, so some of these cars are definitely going to be a lot better on fuel than others. We see Hairraiser coming into pit lane here, so Hairraiser is going to be the first driver to make a pit stop, and we are most certainly going to watch this pit stop so we can let the TV crew do their job. I am excited about this. New cameras, our fun camera angles are coming back here right now, chat. So, pit stop for Hairraiser. Tires and fuel here for Hairraiser. So, are we seeing some two-stop strategies versus some one-stop strategies? It does kind of appear to be that way. So we're going to have to see how this works out for Hairraiser in the Mustang here. You can see the guys are just getting ready to... You can see he's got that sign down, just waiting, waiting. Takes forever. The fuel is just going, and there we go, and he is away. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hairraiser, first driver to pit, and that's going to put him roughly about 40 seconds behind the pack. So interesting to see. Let's see how that works out for him now as we move forward. So it's Penelope with a 1.5 second lead. Apex Racing's Pigham's now in second place. Boo Fushidara just in behind, 0.6 of a second in that Ferrari, and we finally got everything rocking and rolling. So here we go. And Doug Barrow and Rose is still sitting here. Now, again, you know, they were battling earlier on, and they've opted to stop battling, and now they're working together. And I mean, 7.9 seconds from Boo Fushidara here currently. That's about right. So side by side as they come out the bank, and here we go. That gives Rose's inside position here. So Rose has stuck it out on the outside. He has had enough of sitting behind that Lexus, but now, can he stay in front of the Lexus? The Lexus, we know, has a better pull in a straight line, so Rose really needs to work that Maggiore through these next technical sectors to try and open up that gap a little bit here to give him some room, because that Lexus is just going to come barreling down on him here as we come into turns 1 and 2 at the end of this next lap. So here we go. Let's see how Doug responds on Roses here. And Doug is a cool, patient customer here behind the wheel, as always. So let's see what he does here as he comes around. And Roses really got a great run out of those sectors, but Roses goes, ooh, really wide there, makes a big mistake, and it's a free position for Doug, so P4 for Doug. Roses going off track there. He's going to have some dirty tires coming into turn 1 and 2 here, so he's going to have to think about that navigating in now, and that's going to force him out just a little bit wider than he'd probably like. And he does get set up nice and neat, so he doesn't lose another position, but now Miss Devious here in 6th place is all over the back end of that Maggiore trophy. We got CRF here in the Corvette as well. He's slowly but surely starting to creep in here too as well. Now we got Hairraiser who just made a pit and a track limit penalty, so that's really unfortunate. We haven't seen too many penalties here handed out by our stewarding staff today. Maggiore is one of the very few tracks in the Gran Turismo 7 racing platform where you can really utilize the track limits, where you can really take liberties in and out of some of these corners. I mean, these drivers are absolutely abusing the track limits here, and it is still okay. So the ruling in the league is we use the penalty system within games, so as long as it's not a clear track cutting advantage, it's allowed. So these drivers are 100% allowed to use all the limitations within the racetrack, and Maggiore is one of those very rare racetracks here in Gran Turismo 7 where it really does allow you to use all the racetracks. So that's what makes it so fun. That's what makes it so fast. You can use a little more racetrack than you normally would be allowed on most circuits here in the platform. So Rose is starting to close back up on Doug here. Miss Devious is still right there in the equation. CRF in 7th, and we got again Hairraiser in 8th, but he has made a pit stop, so he is going to be on some fresh racing tires there as well. Did he take a full load of fuel? Also is the next question. Did he just short fuel? Lots of things can happen with a two-stop strategy. You can create a lighter race car, which increases lap time because you're on fresher tires. Your tires aren't going to wear as quickly because your car is not as heavy. There's so many benefits to potential two-stop strategy, but it looks like it's a two-stop versus a whole bunch of one-stops. So it is Penelope in first, it's Piggums in second, and Boo Fushidara in third. And with these guys, are only separated by 1.1 seconds from first to third place here currently. We've got Doug and Rosa still battling for fourth and fifth place here, and this has been a pretty healthy work together, i.e. battle all race long between these two drivers. We have Miss Devious here in sixth place, and she is just chilling right now here and doing her thing on the racetrack. We got CRF in seventh here, much of the same thing here. He's in fuel conservation mode is what it looks like here in this race today. And Hair Razor here 30 seconds behind this group in 8th place. So it's going to be interesting to see where he settles out once these drivers start to make their rounds of pit stops. So it is Penelope in the lead, and she's had a lead for a majority of the race here now. She was sitting in third and second place there for a bit. She managed to find her way around Boo Fushidara, who did take that race lead on lap 1 from our pole sitter Apex Racing's Piggums. So currently, as it sits right now, it is just Penelope coming from, I think, 5th on the grid all the way up to leading this race. Apex Racing's Piggums starting on pole, chasing just Penelope there in second place, and Boo Fushidara starting in P2, currently chasing here in P3. So the usual suspects sitting there right in the front of the grid as usual here as we're coming around the Big Bank corner. You can see Apex Racing Piggums really took a lot of that to try and maximize exit there, but just Penelope is on it here again today. Boo Fushidara, we know this guy could drive. He is defending champion here, so do not count this gentleman out here in that Ferrari either. We got Roses has managed to find his way back around Doug again for 4th place. So Doug back into 5th, and his battle back on. That Lexus power starting to kick in. He's going to go side by side with Roses here. He's going to back out a little bit here though and get a better setup for this corner. He's going to have to tuck in behind Roses. I thought he was going to stick his nose inside there, but Doug's just opting to wait till he knows the straightaway is going to be where he can make up his time here, so he's just going to survive the corner, stay as close to that Maggiore trophy as he can. Maybe Roses makes that mistake like he did the last time in this situation again. Maybe he gets a free position. If not, he'll have to utilize that straightaway to try and make that time gap up. But right now it's about 6 to 7 tenths of a second, and Roses goes really wide trying to lose that Lexus in behind, because Roses is aware that Lexus is much stronger in a straight line than his car is. So but he does manage to stay ahead of Doug coming into the corners, and now Roses can really try to work on opening that gap on that Lexus here. We've got Boo Fushidara now coming into pit lane here as well at the 27-minute mark here. It looks like he's going to take some tires and some fuel as well. So 2 of our 8 drivers have now pit here today. We got D-Dot coming in with that thumbs up here. Much love, living a legend in the house here, ladies and gentlemen, with Mr. D.90. We got Apex Racing's Piggums here in second, with Roses now up into third with that pit from Boo Fushidara. We've got Doug now up into 4th place, Miss Devious all the way up into 5th, CRF now in 6th. We've got Hair Razor, first of our pit stops to be made here in 7th, and Boo Fushidara here just coming out of pit lane, just in behind Hair Razor. So far, Hair Razor's early pit stop working out for him. Madam Mel coming in with that like and that share. Much love, welcome in everybody. How we all doing? Alright, for those viewing in the YouTube channels, we are officially in 1080p high definition quality for all you lovely folks over there on the YouTube as well. So if you haven't switched it over yet, I recommend doing so because it looks absolutely amazing. And welcome in if you're just coming in. This is the GTRC, the Gran Turismo racing community, and I am your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. We are halfway through our round 4 official championship GT4 series race, and it is Penelope leading the way. Apex Racing's Piggums here in the second place, very close behind. We are currently in a sequence of pit stops as well, ladies and gentlemen, so all this will change. High Prix Roses in 3rd place with that Maggiore trophy. We've got Doug Burrow with the RCF Lexus. We've got Miss Devious with that Toyota GR86. We've got CRF with the Chevrolet Corvette. Hair Razor with the Ford Mustang, and Boo Fushidara with that Group 4 Ferrari. So Apex Piggums now coming in to pit lane. So here we go. Undercuts, overcuts. What strategy is the winning strategy? We have a 2-stop strategy going on the racetrack. We have several 1-stop strategies. Who has the winning strategy today? Alright, so while we're going through all our pit stop sequences, let's go and let's bring up this beautiful, beautiful track map provided by Miss Devious here. And let's talk about Maggiore just a little bit longer here while these lovely ladies and gentlemen do their pit stop sequence. So, as we were talking about, turn 1 has the potential for passing. We've seen that several times already early on in the race here today. Second note is driver setting up for turn 3 may momentarily lift off the throttle to help the car clip the apex to set up for the following corner. Turn 4 is sharper than it looks. Getting this turn wrong may cost the driver all their speed, resulting in being slow until turn 5, which could also cost a position or two. Turn 5 is complicated and very hard of tires. Positions can easily be gained or lost there. Turn 6 through 8, the S's as we call it, is where a driver can gain or lose time. Turn 8 is incredibly important for drivers to get a good run out of turn 8, as drivers will carry that speed all the way to turn 11. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, turn 11 is what we call Big Banky. That big bank corner is an interesting corner, and due to the optical illusion of the terrain for turn 11, some drivers tend to brake earlier than needed. Expect to see many passing opportunities there. There is about 3 or 4 different lines through that corner, so very easy to get a job done. We've seen Roses make an outside move on Dugborough in that exact corner. Turns 14 and 15 are will be hard on tires due to the long sustained load through this section. Fuel and tires are always on the minds of the drivers. Turn 17 can be difficult heading down the hill. The car will want to understeer through the turn, which could force the car out wide, which we did see from Roses also in this race. This is a beautiful circuit staged near Lake Maggiore in northern Italy, and it is surrounded by the European Alps, ladies and gentlemen. So just a little touch base back on where we are and what we're looking at. We have Penelope now, our leader, coming into pit lane. So all the pit stops are circulated through now. Again, medium tires are the only tires that we're allowed to use here in the series, so they can take as many as they want. There's no pit window. They can stop as many times as they want. Right now, Hairraiser is the only driver currently sitting on a 2-stop strategy, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out against the rest of these 1-stop strategies. Looking good, mate. Keyboard work yet, or asking too much? Yeah, no keyboard work yet. That's definitely asking too much, brother. So Penelope in the lead here, and you can see the fuel man doing his job. He's just trying to shake that can in, but Hairraiser's going to take the lead here as he comes around. So Hairraiser is now in the lead of this race. He is the 3rd race leader of the day, and that is our 4th lead position change. So Ford Mustang now in the lead at the 33-minute mark of our 1-hour endurance race here today. And it is Piggums here still in 2nd place chasing Penelope in 3rd. So undercut working for Piggums there as he gets that position on Penelope. Abufu Shadar, our defending champion here coming into the GT4 championship this season, is in 3rd place with that Ferrari, and do not discount this guy. We know he can make some moves happen. We got High Prix Roses in 5th place here in this Maggiore trophy, and he has been working this car around this racetrack today, definitely trying to utilize his strengths against some of these big, more powerful, torquey race cars, and he's done a pretty good job at it. Doug here in 6th place in Alexis, with Miss Devious just behind in 7th, and CRF here in 8th place in that Corvette. So again, small group of drivers here today, but been some great battling here, especially for our podium positions. As always, it seems to just happen that way here at the GTRC. This Pro Division always manages to find a way to make it absolutely crazy exciting at the end of the race, and it's kind of looking like we're going to see much of the same thing here again today, folks. Do not let these gaps fool you. These drivers are just waiting for that 10 minutes to go mark, and we're going to see some fireworks happen on this racetrack, and that I can almost guarantee. It's been like this every single week here so far this season. Bufu Shadar right there, and it's a fuel game, it's a saving tire game, it's a mind game right now. It's a lot of strategy involved coming here. These 3 drivers specifically have been battling very hard all season long for these top 3 spots, and they are sitting very strongly in the standings as well. So every position and every point matters to these drivers. So currently right now, Hairraiser actually owns fastest lap on the racetrack with a 2:05.033. And that's a bonus point right there for Hairraiser if he can hold on to that. We got Vic coming in with that thumbs up. What is going on, Vic? How are we doing, my guy? Alright, we're just checking everything out here. Everything is looking pretty shibby. We haven't said that word in a while. Alright. Let's keep going through our field here. We got Roses in 5th place here, and again, he's really been flirting with the edge of that racetrack. We've already seen him bite him once here today. Ooh, and here we go. A little mistake made there by Doug as that car twitches a little bit on him. That's going to give Miss Devious in that Toyota 86 a run. Is she going to make the move? No, she's giving him the flashes there. I think she's saying, hey, let's work together here. And as they're coming into turns 1 and 2, let's see what happens here. Doug takes a lot of that curb. He's going to go defensive here, not semi-defensive. And Miss Devious gets a great run out of the corner, and Doug's going to make a mistake. And oh, Miss Devious just gets that car slowed down in time. She almost gets into the back end of Doug there as he came back onto the racetrack. That was a great racing awareness there by Miss Devious to realize that there was a mistake happening there. And she manages to get ahead of Doug here. So Miss Devious now up into P6. So some patience. A little bit of a pucker moment for Miss Devious and a little bit of decision making that has gotten her a position here on Dougborough, but Dougborough's not going to let her just walk away with that. He is going to be like, I want that back. So this is going to be battle on here between Dougborough and Miss Devious for P6 and P7. So this may allow for that driver at the Corvette in behind who just came into the shot there to start catching up on these two. They start battling really aggressively here. So coming out of the S's, and this is a great passing opportunity here as we come in down through this long second straightaway here on the backside of this racetrack, and we're going to set this up for the big bank corners. So I guess the question is Miss Devious defend here, or is Doug going to just try and use the inside? No, Doug's going to stay on the outside there. Miss Devious is going to go semi-defensive into the corner here. Ooh, a little bit of a twitch there again under braking from that Lexus. So Doug really pushing that car here right now. He gets a good exit, but that Toyota of Miss Devious just staying out front. But there we go, the power of the Lexus slotting them right in beside there. Ooh, a little bit of dirty tire syndrome here. That could cost him coming into the next corner. And it's going to be Miss Devious that's going to slot right out in front. Doug's immediately getting a look back up the inside coming into the next corner, but Miss Devious goes in a little bit late on the brakes and manages to hold that position off from Doug. And we got a battle happening for 6th and 7th place here, ladies and gentlemen. And it is Miss Devious currently holding Doug Barrow off for that position. And boy, this is a relentless fight here from Doug Barrow. And let's see what happens here. He is looking right at the back end of that Toyota 86, reading all those beautiful little messages for the drivers in behind there. And Doug takes a look up the inside. Miss Devious gets a little bit of dirt on the tires there. Coming into turn 1, this could play a factor. This is a very, very fast entry into turns 1 and 2. Great driving by the drivers. Absolutely. And Miss Devious is going to hold him off. She gets that apex, but Doug, is he going to look inside? No, he's going to stay in behind, and then we're going to take this line, and it looks like Miss Devious is just going to hold Doug off here for the time being. Anyways, let's get back through the rest of our field and see what's happening up front here. It is still Hairraiser in the lead of this race, but he is on a 2-stop strategy, so he will have to make another pit stop at some point throughout this race. It's Apex Racing's Piggums, followed by Penelope and Bufu Shadar, and all 3 of these drivers are on a 1-stop strategy. We do suspect that all 3 of these drivers will not have to make another pit stop here today, or did they make a mistake while refueling, not put enough fuel in that car, and will that cost them at the end of the night? It's hard to say. We got High Prix Roses here, and he has been working that car hard here today at Maggiore, and he managed to keep that thing up at the P5 here, really utilizing the advantage of this race car in this cornering sectors. And it's been working out really well for him, but he doesn't have a buddy here right now, and he is kind of all alone. So there is a potential for some of these cars that, if they decide to work together, to maybe close that gap up. It's only 7 seconds, and we still have 21.5 minutes remaining in this race. There is plenty of time for these drivers to use some slipstream and do a little bit of drafting here to catch up to that driver, but it's not going to be that way between these two. It is battle on. And are we going to see the cutback from Miss Devious here? She just didn't have the run for it. It definitely looked like she was thinking about it, though, and here we go. It's Doug and Miss Devious battling for that 6th and 7th place here again. And this is a healthy battle right here. Doug has been in the thick of the battling in this mid-pack all race long. He had a good half-hour battle there with High Prix Roses. Now he's in a whole new rejuvenated battle with Miss Devious. CRF, he's just been chilling here today, man. He's like, you know what? He's like, I don't even care, man. Even if I come in last, I'm getting 8th place points today. He's just saving the fuel in that car. He's trying to save the tires in that car, and he's just trying to get himself into a position to grab a couple of free positions before the end of the race. He already knows he's in for good points here today. So he is, I think he is just kind of the most laid-back, chilled driver on the field here today. He's just doing his thing right now. He's just having a nice little good rip around the racetrack. And we got a frozen capture card. Ain't that cute? Uno momento. That's a new one. There we go. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Huh. That's the first time I've had that one happen. Apex Racing's Piggums in 2nd place. And he is chasing 1.4 seconds in behind Hairraiser, so he's been closing that gap up ever so slightly. Now he is on fresher tires, remember. We got Penelope and Bufu Shidara here in third and fourth place, and when Hair Razor makes that pit, that will move them back up into second and third. And Bufu Shidara is really starting to close in on Penelope here, so are we going to see a battle between these two drivers for position here? Right now, our Impact Racing's Pickham's job is to try and continue to open that gap as much as possible. We got Roses, and he's about 17 seconds in behind these drivers here currently, so he has definitely got some work to do if he wants to get into that battle for podium, but still in a good position for a strong race finish here today. Doug has broken away from Miss Devious here just a tiny little bit in that Lexus, so he's going to move up into sixth there. Miss Devious is just in behind, 1.5 seconds away from Doug Burrow in that Toyota 86 to 7th, and CRF is just 1.5 seconds in behind Miss Devious here, so not sure. We see some flashing lights there up there from Miss Devious as well, so maybe just a little bit of communication between those drivers to try and work together here, and they really can reel in Roses up ahead. So there we go. We just had Hair Razor make a mistake. I think we might have had Hair Razor make a mistake there, as he has got passed by Pigham's Penelope and Bufu Shidara, and I believe he was probably going to be contemplating coming into pit this time around here anyways, but unfortunately for him, oh, we got Bufu Shidara coming in for a pit as well, so that's interesting. I did not expect that, so we are seeing some two-stop strategies here, some modified two-stop strategy here from Bufu Shidara, so, you know, I don't know what to expect from these drivers up front. I really did think we were seeing one-stop strategies here out of every one of those drivers, but we do see a two-stop strategy coming out of Bufu Shidara. It's just modified compared to what we would expect to see, so it is Apex Racing's Pickham's in the lead, just Penelope chasing 3.4 seconds now. Last time in this GT4 series between these two specific drivers, there was a 4-second gap between these drivers with about 20 minutes remaining, and it was a drag race to the start-finish line by the end of the race. Right now, we have a 3.6 second gap between Penelope and Apex Racing's Pickham's. Are we going to see a repeat from 2 weeks ago in round 3? Also noted, last weekend in the BMW series, a battle between Penelope and Apex Racing's Pickham's, much of the same thing, 4-second gap with a few 15 minutes remaining. Penelope closed that gap and made a last corner move for the race win in those BMWs last weekend. Are we going to see a showdown in the final corners between just Penelope and Apex Racing Pickham's again this week? Right now, that's exactly what we're setting up to see. High Prix Rose is now into P3. Doug Barrow up into 4th. Miss Devious in the 5th. Bufu Shidara is tucked right in behind Miss Devious here in 6th place. He is going to try and work his way around these cars as quickly as possible to try and make up those positions. You can see you're giving him the signal to go up the right-hand side there. So a little bit of communication from Miss Devious to Bufu Shidara. Bufu Shidara not left guessing what's going to happen here. He knew exactly what's happening. Thank you, Miss Devious. He's going to move up down the road. She's going to use that Ferrari for some slipstream. So win-win for both these drivers. It's just a smart decision here by Miss Devious. Let that faster driver go up ahead here right now and tuck in behind his slipstream and let him pull you into the next driver, the next battle up ahead. Some very, very, very good thinking here from Miss Devious. We got CRF here in 7th and Hair Razor now in 8th. Fresh tires though, so let's see what he can do with that. 23 seconds. If no more of these drivers make a pit stop here, that might be the downfall for Hair Razor here today, but it is Apex Racing's Pickham's 3.8 second gap on Penelope. It was Roses in 3rd place here. Doug starting to kind of trying to close in here, 9.6 seconds in behind Roses. Bufu Shidara is already trying to get away from Miss Devious here. He's opened up that gap to 0.5 seconds. I'm looking at the gap between him and Doug is 1.5 seconds. So Miss Devious is just trying to stay in that slip of Bufu Shidara here right now, and that's going to help her get around the racetrack much, much quicker, and that's actually pulling her right in back to the backside of Doug Burrow here. So again, some pretty good race decisions being made by these drivers here today. CRF is getting to be a part of this too as well. He's like, hey, I like this idea. I'm going to get involved in this too. Hold on, I'm coming, guys. He's going to jump on the back of this train if he can here as well and try to get reeled right back in for battle for position. Hair Razor here coming into turns 1 and 2, 22 seconds. Let's see if he can make up that time now. Two-stop strategy. Hair Razor's strategies have not been winning him any favors here so far this season. That Mustang, it must be proving to be very difficult on fuel, as he's always been on a slightly different strategy than the majority of the drivers here this season, and unfortunately it's really cost him a couple of great race finishes here, I think, having to take that extra pit stop, and today we could be a case of the same thing, so we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out, but from what I can see, I'm pretty sure our top few drivers are going to be A-okay when it comes down to fuel and tires. Penelope here in second, 3.4, so 3/10 of a second off this time around, off our race leader. So already the charge continues and begins with 15 minutes remaining. We're going to see that either one of two things happen. That time's going to increase or that time's going to decrease. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's happening here between first and second. We got High Prix Roses now with a 17-second gap to second place, but he has a 10-second gap to fourth place Doug Burrow chasing, so a potential podium for High Prix Racing's Roses here right now. Doug and Bufu Shidara here fourth and fifth place, and this could be fantastic for Penelope and Pigham's up in front. If these guys can hold Bufu Shidara up a little bit with some good defensive driving, that may allow those two just to drive away with this thing here today. Bufu Shidara has a long way to go, though, having to make that secondary pit stop. I'm not sure if he just wanted some fresh tires or what was going on there, but maybe his strategies, but interesting. Definitely costing him some position on the racetrack. We got Miss Devious and CRF in 6th and 7th place here as they come up that start-finish line as well. And pretty good race pace here from all these drivers. CRF has some great consistency there. And yeah, here we go. Hair Razor 205.033, still the fastest man on the racetrack, and at least picking up a bonus point here for his efforts today. But that two-stop strategy definitely hurting Hair Razor here today. Looking good, mate. Let's get him. Let's get them champs back out. Hey, we will, buddy. We'll talk to the staff. We'll get it working. We got Penelope. I'll send you a message on what I'm doing to make it all work too, brother. High Prix Roses here in third place. We got Doug Barrow in fourth. And Bufu Shidara is being very patient back there. So just maybe not able to get around Doug. I'm not sure. Here we go. But Doug left an opportunity. No, and Bufu Shidara is going to go for the cutback move up into the S's, but he doesn't quite make it happen. That was going to be a spectacular move. He was going to make that stick, but he opted just to tuck back in behind this Lexus. So coming up through the S's here, it's going to be Bufu Shidara and Doug. And Bufu Shidara might be using Big Bank Corner to get the job done here. We're going to use slingshot engage, as we like to say here. But Doug is going to defend this corner. I know Doug's going to defend this corner. You can see Bufu Shidara is really up in his business here. He has got that front end of that Ferrari tucked right in behind it. Here we go. He's going to move up the inside, as I suspected we were going to see here. And it is side by side through the Big Bank corner. Cut back coming from Doug. Is he going to get the job done? He's going to get the power down on that Lexus. It's side by side, so it's still a battle here for fourth place between Bufu Shidara and Doug. But Boo does have position coming around the next corner. If Doug can stay beside him, he'll have position coming into the next corner and not quite in beside. He's just going to have to tuck in behind Bufu Shidara there. And that was some great driving by these two gentlemen here. Bufu Shidara coming out ahead in fourth place. Doug Burrow in fifth. And now Miss Devious right back in the fight here as well, up in sixth place. So three-way battle developing here in the mid-pack. But yeah, Bufu Shidara, he really needed to get around these drivers as quickly as he could to try and make up that distance between him and High Prix Roses there in third place. He is really probably hoping that one of these drivers on the podium does need to make that other stop now at this point, as the gap is quite large. Car's looking amazing, mate. Appreciate you, D. Appreciate you, my guy. Miss Devious here, she is right up in Doug Barrow's space here. Let's jump on board with Miss Devious here as we come around into turns 1 and 2. And let's take a look at what she's dealing with here right now. She is just staring at the back end of this Lexus, and she is really, really working hard here. Now, I guess, is she going to wait to try and make this move, or does she think she has to pace on this driver and she's going to make it happen now? We have a little under 12 minutes remaining here in this race, so we're going to see about 6 more laps here, ladies and gentlemen, and it is a battle in this mid-pack right now with Miss Devious, Doug, and Bufu Shidara. But I believe Bufu Shidara has started to make some time up here, so Miss Devious taking a little bit of a look up the inside there, but that's just her line maybe through that corner. But she really, really closed up on the back side of this Lexus driver and Doug Burrow up in front of her here. So these two have been having a great battle here all race long. And CRF here in 7th place. He's starting to lose touch with them slightly, and poor Hair Razor, he is gaining though, 5 seconds shaved off from the last time around here around Maggiore on that back driver CRF. So Pigham's 2.8 second gap, another 0.6 of a second that time around shaved off from Penelope. I told you, chat, she is not going to stop sending it now until she is on the back door of the Apex Racing's Pigham Supra here. This is setting up to be a 1 or 2 lap showdown. I'm telling you, I'm predicting it right now. Rose is here in 3rd place, and his job right now is to keep that 17-second gap, or that 13-second gap from Bufu Shidara. Exactly that, the 13-second gap. Bufu Shidara is starting to pull away from Doug and Miss Devious in behind, and it is Miss Devious and Doug Barrow close together again here. So let's see how these two navigate this situation. not a whole lot of advantage or disadvantage between the two drivers as far as tires and fuel go. They're very, very equal, so it's really coming down to their cars and their ability to drive them at this point. The CRF here in 7th, and Hair Razor, he is working hard. He is working hard today. But hey, 8th place, even if he can't grab any more position, 8th place is still very solid points for that driver here today. And benefit to these drivers, they made it on the racetrack and the other drivers didn't today, so good points for all our Pro Division drivers here today. Penelope in 2nd place is 2.1. Here we go again. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the boy in the booth, Ghost Terror 45, is going to get his breath and his voice prepared for a showdown between Penelope and Pigums again. Same old story, whole new adventure. Absolutely loving it. Rose is here in 3rd place, Boo Fushidara, and he is starting to really open up that gap, and now it's Miss Devious ahead of Doug Barrow as well, so she has gotten around Doug, and she is going to try and open the floodgates on this Lexus here. Now let's see if she can get that job done and pull away from Doug Barrow. Doug Barrow taking that faster center line there. Miss Devious taking a little more of a defense there. And we're coming into the S's here. Let's see what happens. If Doug's going to make a response move here, it's going to be coming out of these turns. Now remember, on that track map it said that the turns 5 through 8 are vitally important for that big run to turn 11. And this is what we're talking about right here. So we're coming out. We're on this straightaway here right now. And what's next is Big Bank Corner. Boo Fushidara must have made somewhat of a mistake there because it looks like they gained some time on Boo Fushidara there. So we're coming into this Big Bank Corner. Miss Devious has about half a second gap on Doug. It's not enough for Doug to make a move here. So Miss Devious is doing a good job at trying to open that gap up on Doug here in 6th place. CRF is starting to close in on Doug in 6th place up ahead of him as well. So this driver's been super patient and chill all race long. Will it pay for him in the end with another position? But it is Pigums, and it's 1.3 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. He is starting to feel that pressure, and here we go again. Here we go again. I love this. These two drivers are so closely paced. It is unbelievable that the battles these two have had, especially at race end, week in and week out, and it looks like again they're going to be our showstoppers here, ladies and gentlemen. Penelope and Pigums about to put on an absolute clinic on how you battle for a race win here today. Everyone has been spicy, everyone has been great to watch, and we're just going to keep our eyes on this racetrack here. Doug is still very tight on Miss Devious here, so I mean anything can definitely change between these two drivers. CRF is still in the fight, and Hair Razor is just pushing that car to try and gain, but right now it is between 1st and 2nd place. We have 7.5 minutes remaining in this race, and that gap is most certainly shrinking. Look at this. We're in for it, chat. We are in for it. Here we go. On board with Penelope as she tries to chase Apex Racing's Pigums down. And that gap is only 0.8 of a second. So it is slipstream time here for Penelope now as she is working. Absolutely working that Supra of Pigums up in front here. This is so much fun. We love this GT4 series. A different car in every driver's hands on this racetrack every week. Every car has its strengths and its weaknesses. Every driver has its advantages and its disadvantages. And it's their strengths and their weaknesses in and out of certain corners and areas. And right now, just Penelope is showing how strong she really is behind the wheel of this Aston Martin, because she is on Pigums. And it is a battle for the race lead. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have literally about 3 and maybe 4 laps to go at this point. And it is battle on between 1st and 2nd place, so here we go. Apex Racing's Pigums, Penelope, nose to tail. What is going to happen? What's your predictions, chat? Who's got it? Who's got it? Round 1 went to Pigums. Round 2 went to Penelope. Who does round 3 belong to today? Apex Racing's Pigums is absolutely feeling that pressure from Penelope here now. And right now, he's not digging this. He's sweating. He is holding onto that steering wheel. His legs, his hips, all his muscles are tense. He doesn't want to make a mistake. You don't want to overpress the brake pedal. You don't want to overthrottle the car. You don't want to miss an apex right now. You are 5 minutes away from a race win. And it is all the pressure right now is on Apex Racing's Pigums. Just Penelope has done her job as that 2nd place driver. She has caught that race leader. Now the second part of her task, the next part of her mission, seek and destroy, pass and conquer and win. Can she do it? We know she can do it. But can she do it today is the bigger question. Her Roses is here in third place and still holding a nice, strong, healthy gap on Bufu Shadar. Misdevious has opened up a little bit on Dugborough. Dugborough is still right there, 2 seconds ahead of CRF. CRF is chilling, 15 seconds ahead of Hairraiser. Hairraiser's dripping that time, but I don't know if he has enough time to get any position back. Pigums, Penelope, coming around Big Banky on lap 26. We are only going to see 3 more laps. These 2 drivers are most certainly going to get at least 3 laps here. I think the rest of the field may only get 2. So this is going to be an absolute showdown between these 2 drivers again. And right now, just Penelope is just being patient. She's studying Apex Racing's Pigum. She's finding out where she can make her move on this race car. And we're going to see this here probably for the next lap, and then we're going to start really see that pressure mount up. It's going to be like Sophie all over us trying to beat that Sophie AI right now, all us PS5 guys, the gals out there. This is what Penelope is about to become like on the back end of Apex Racing's Pigums here. Maybe not this lap, but definitely next time around we are going to see that pressure mount up. So here we go. Turns 1 and 2 on lap 27. It's going to be 2.5 laps remaining, 2 3/4 laps to go here, ladies and gentlemen. Roses is coming around here right now on his final corner, just dips it into that grass a little bit there, and he's going to come around, and it still is Hairraiser being the fastest man on the racetrack, Bufu Shadara. He's trying to chase our Roses down, but I think it might be a little too late for him. Misdevious up into 5th, Doug into 6th, CRF into 7th, and Hairraiser into 8th, but right now this is definitely where the fight is going to end up here at the end of the race. We're going to stick with our 2 race leader, with our first and second place drivers here up front right now. I feel like if we move here again, we are going to miss something juicy. We've missed a few battles here today, so let's try not to miss the one that counts the most right at the end of the day. 0.7 of a second, ladies and gentlemen. We're heading up the S's. Crucial sector. You can see Pigum's really using up that curb, and that might have been too much. He may pay the price there. If he's going to get a penalty for that, it's going to show up on his car here right now, and it looks like he got away with it. Oh boy. I did say you could use some liberties here around the racetrack, but that was definitely borderline on liberties on that specific curb there. So Pigum's managing to squeak through there, and I could just imagine how these 2 drivers are feeling behind the wheels of these race cars right now. That battle is there. The timer's running down. There's 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and 50 seconds remaining, and it is on. It is on. We're going to see 29 laps from these 2 drivers. And we're going to see 28 laps, most likely for the remainder of the field. So Penelope, Pigums coming around here. We're just coming into these final few corners. And judging by the times we're putting down, this is going to be 2 to go this time around, ladies and gentlemen. 2 to go, 2 to go. So here we go. Coming into the corner, and now every little corner, every braking point, everything matters here right now. Just Penelope starting to close back up. I told you, this lap, the pressure is on. And here we go. Just Penelope starting to move. She is going to park it on that rear bumper of Apex Racing's Pigums and wait for her moment to try and pounce. Here we go. 2 to go, ladies and gentlemen. 2 to go. Roses in 3rd, Boo in 4th, Misdevious in 5th, Doug in 6th, CRF in 7th, and Hairraiser rounding out our field. We're sticking with our top 2 drivers here. These 2 are only separated by, oh man, this is just Penelope really going out wide there. Really going out wide there. A little bit of dirty air through that car out there wide, but that is one spot on this racetrack where you can get away with a wide exit like that. So not really losing a lot of time there, losing a tiny little bit of time, but she is really pushing that Aston Martin right now to try and get back on the back end of that Supra. And Pigums may have the answer here today, sitting there in 1st place. He's just managing to maintain that gap, and if he can get a really big run through here, this is really going to pay dividends for him here as we are getting very close to the end of this race. They will get one more lap in here. Coming into Banky. She is not close enough to make a move on Pigums here. Let's see if Penelope can close up on Pigums as we come through the big bank corner here. And Pigums has a small cushion here. He has a little more breathing room right now on Penelope than he did just a couple laps ago. So in the position where the timer is right now, that is definitely a good thing. Do the drivers have the fuel to make it? Do they have the tires underneath them to make it? What is the situation for each individual one of these drivers here now as we move forward? Pigham's coming around. We got 2 more corners, and it's going to be final lap for these 2 drivers. Everybody else, I believe, is on their final lap here in behind. We'll have to see once these 2 cross the start-finish line where everybody settles out. But right now, it is looking like Apex Racing's Pigham's here, as these K2 are going to come around and take that white flag lap here for Apex Racing's Pigham's and just Penelope. They are just going to cross that line with very, very, very limited amount of seconds to spare. So final lap for our race leaders, just Penelope and Apex Racing's Pigham's. We are going to have Roses, and this is going to be a race finish for him here as he comes around, and we're going to keep our eye on those 2. Right now, Pigham's has a pretty decent gap still, so it is going to be Roses, and he's going to take a P3 finish here, so congratulations to Roses on his race here today. Bufu Shadara is going to take a 4th place finish here as well for himself. We're keeping an eye on those leaders, don't worry. And it is going to be a 4th place finish here. Maybe not the ideal finish for Bufu Shadara, but still solid finish here for him and good points. It's going to be Miss Devious. She's going to come across that line with a P5 finish here. And that was a strong finish for her. And it is a drag race between CRF and Doug Barrow. Who's going to get it? It's going to be... Ooh, it's going to be Doug Barrow by 0.06 of a second over CRF. And it's going to be Hair Razor's going to come around here and finish up in 8th place here. So let's just see where these drivers are. Yeah, we'll definitely give him some love here as he comes around with that beautiful Ford Mustang. And back to our race leader and our 2nd place driver, Penelope. But it is looking like Pigham's has what it takes just to hold that Aston Martin off here today. And boy, oh boy, let me tell you, is it close between these 2 on fuel and tires. This race is not over yet. This race may not be over yet. We gotta have to wait to see what's gonna happen here, chat. I'm gonna drop this. This is what Pigham's has. This is what Penelope has. Ooh, doggy. Very close. It is very, very close. I don't usually do this during the end of the race, but I mean, it's not going to make a difference in what's going to happen in this race here by me dropping this 20 seconds before the end of the race. But I just wanted you guys to see how really close it is between these 2. And Pigham's he's just going to edge Penelope out today. So it's going to be a round 3 of this battle between these 2 drivers. Goes to Apex Racing's Pigham's. Pigham's is up 2-1 here. So it is going to be a race win for Apex Racing's Pigham's. And it is going to be a very well-earned 2nd place for Penelope here. So congratulations to all the drivers. Literally, Penelope just ran out of fuel at the end of that race. So GG's to all those drivers. That was fantastic right there, let me tell you. And I think we get race results now. Oh, we do. Oh, I love this. Oh, I love this. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Your unofficial race results is Apex Pigham's with the race win. Penelope in 2nd, High Prix Roses in 3rd, Bufu Shadara in 4th place, Miss Devious in 5th. We have Doug Barrow in 6th, CRF in 7th, and Hair Razor in 8th place. Fastest lap does belong to Hair Razor with a 2:05.033. Absolutely fantastic stuff here by these group today at Maggiore. Congratulations and a GG's to all our drivers on the racetrack. It was a small group here today, but it was definitely a feisty little race and great points for every single one of those drivers here today. But congratulations to those top 3 drivers, and we're going to move it right here. Those beautiful, beautiful podium interviews, ladies and gentlemen. And we're just going to go wait for our drivers to pop on in. All right, we got a Roses. We're not going to see a Penelope. We usually don't see Penelope in the interviews, and that's okay. But we may see... Pigham's in here. But we'll just sit tight for one moment. Give everybody a minute. And what a great race that was. I mean, what else can we say, ladies and gentlemen? We... had a pretty good race for only 8 drivers, and 8 drivers getting really good points here today. So even though Hair Razor's 2-stop strategy didn't really pay dividends for him here today, put him at the back of the pack at the end of the race, he's still going to get 8th place points for that last place finish here today. So really a win-win situation for every single individual driver on the racetrack here today. And you know, You don't have to win every race to win a championship in sim racing, ladies and gentlemen. You don't even need to finish on the podium necessarily to win a championship in a sim racing championship series, ladies and gentlemen. The real key to success is get on track every week, make it to every single race, and be very consistent. And if there's no drop rounds factored in, you're putting yourself in a position to potentially fight for a championship. So the drivers that made it here today are going to build points on the drivers that didn't make it here today. Those drivers are a race disadvantage here now. So good points gained for our 8 drivers on the racetrack today, and gives them a step ahead into that championship chase as we head for round 5 in a couple weeks' time. So a good job to all the racers here today. And we're just going to do this. All right, let's go take a peek, shall we? We just got to make a couple of volume adjustments, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with. All right. That's one of them. You just heard it for yourselves. All right. All right, so it does look like we're just going to have Roses here today. So we do have our 3rd place finisher in the interview room here with us, and it does belong to High Prix Racing driver Roses. So coming in for your 2nd full race of the season here this season with that Maggiore trophy. And you really had to work that car hard today for that P3 finish. So talk us through your race a little bit.
Yeah, I knew I was coming into the race in a very overpowered car from doing the early practice. All I just knew what I had to do was just take the corners as fast as I could, because that was the only chance, because I had no power down the straights, and hope that I could save a lot more fuel come the pit stops, and it kind of worked out. I probably would have got a 4th place there if Bo didn't pit in, but it's a difficult race on the tyres and the fuel, so I just got lucky.
Well, let's talk about that battle with Doug Barrow. I mean, you and Doug Barrow at the beginning of the race were basically nose to tail the whole way around, and that was a very lengthy, I would say, 25 to 30 minute at times battle, and I guess at times you guys kind of working together. And at one point, you guys were actually gaining to the front part of that pack. Was that your intention there, or were you just waiting for that perfect moment going into that right sector to get around Doug there?
No, I was just trying to work with him and gain to the cars up in front, because I couldn't really pull away from anyone as I didn't have the power in the car. So I just thought use the top end that the Lexus has a little bit more over the trophy, and hopefully gain, and we did a little bit, and that was enough to get this podium.
Absolutely, and I mean, coming in a little bit late to the season, but very quickly charging your way through those standings. So small grid day today, great points gain for you. That's really going to shoot you up the standings. So with what do we got, 8 weeks remaining in this very lengthy season here, I guess what's the goal moving into the next couple of rounds for you?
Hope that I can grab a couple more podiums, and hope that I can be challenging Piggins for a title.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is a driver with his goals in place and in order for sure. A great race for you and, of course, the team. So shout outs, my man.
Thank you.
Any shout outs you want to send out? Sorry?
Yeah, just want to shout out the team, High Prix, and our wonderful sponsor, SRC, for coming in and sponsoring the team. We're slowly gaining the attention and slowly growing.
Absolutely. We're starting to see those beautiful car colors all over these North American racing leagues here and over in the UK now as well from Team High Prix. So much love. And of course, huge shout out to High Prix. They obviously a large part here at the GTRC with those amazing visuals we see on the stream here week in and week out as well. So congratulations on your first podium of the season, and hopefully many more to come.
Cheers.
We do have our leader in the chat here too, ladies and gentlemen, but we're going to just have a quick little chat about our second place driver, Penelope. Now, she always opts to not come into the interviews, and that's perfectly fine, but again, she didn't have the best qualifying, and that was really surprising to me. today. I know she's quick around here. I've seen her in practice throughout the week. I've seen them do some practice races. She was definitely very quick around here. She just didn't have the best qualifying, but boy, when it came down to race time, she definitely showed why she's at the top of these races week in and week out. She has just a great pace, and she has some very, very good racing knowledge on the racetrack, and had a great race today. She managed to get herself up into that fight for the win here today, but unfortunately for her, fuel and tire wear just didn't allow her to push the way she probably wanted to on Pigham's up in front. Pigham's did just enough to make sure that didn't happen and lock down that P1 finish for himself. So great drive here again by Penelope this week here in round 4 at Maggiore, and I cannot wait to see what she's going to bring in round 5. So huge shout out to Penelope, and can't wait to see what she has for us next. So without further ado, let's talk to that champion. Let's talk to our race winner here today. Let's talk to Apex Racing's Pigham's. First full season with the GTRC, and boy, you have come out on fire this season. How was that race for you today?
It was a tough one. Between the tires and the fuel, neither one of them wanted to last, so it was just a fight the whole time to get the car around. And then on top of that, you had Boo and Penelope there, and just one little mistake is all it would have took, and it was gone.
Now, early on in the race, you had a great qualifying, 2:04.7, I believe that qualifying time was absolutely blazing time in these Group 4 cars around the racetrack here. What were you thinking about, obviously, sitting on pole position? You have Bufu Shidara, he's chasing, he's lurking right there underneath you in the standings. What's going through your mind at race start? Are you worried about that whole shot, or are you just looking to get into a comfortable position very early on and kind of try to utilize some cars to help save some fuel, tires, etc.?
Biggest thing with this car is it's kind of slow off the line, so you just kind of hope not to lose too many positions between the start of the race and the first corner. Luckily here, it's kind of a short run to the first corner, so I lucked out, and I can't remember if I came out in the lead or came out in second place. Maybe I think Bo got around, but other than that, no, I got through the first couple of corners good, and then from there it's been a matter of trying to save the fuel and save the tires and try to find someone to get some draft from.
Absolutely, and then a pretty calm race for the most part in the middle part of the race. Everybody seemed like you were just kind of settled into your strategies, your paces. You weren't really too focused on battling each other up front, but more so really focused on trying to get away from the rest of the group, I guess, and behind you chasing, because there was some definitely some points of time in the mid part of the race where the mid pack was definitely starting to close in. But let's talk about the last 20 minutes. I mean, we've seen this same storyline, especially between yourself and Penelope over the last couple of weeks, especially. 4 or 5 second gap with about 20 minutes remaining, and by 2 to go, 1 to go, you two are nose to tail battling thick for the lead. Was that on your mind today as you've seen that timer starting to go from 4 to 3.5 to 2.6? So what goes through your mind at that point after you've had a couple of weeks of pretty crazy battling with that specific driver?
For probably the first 4 or 5 laps after the pit stop, I was questioning whether I even had enough fuel, because I thought I might have stopped a lap too early accidentally and lucked out that I didn't. I think I crossed the line with like 0.1 fuel left or something. But the way she caught up there in those last few laps, I thought she had the fuel just to blow right by. But I think by the looks of it, she might have ran a little short in the end there. But it always nice when you get a close finish after a long race like that, though.
Absolutely, and I mean, you two have not been strangers with each other so far in both our series here, the GTRC, and not only this series, but also that BMW series that's running again next weekend. So, moving forward, main competition right now, obviously Penelope.
Definitely.
And I guess the focus, and, what's that focus?
Who's right there?
Going into
Who's right there too?
Yeah, absolutely. Bufu Shidara just not having, making a modified 2-stop today. It just didn't quite work out in his favor there, which was a little bit of a surprise, actually, for me in the booth here. So, not playing in to be as much of a factor here today, and actually gives you guys a little bit of breathing room on him in the standings in this chase here, moving into round 5 and 6 as well. So, I guess what's your approach for the next couple of rounds as we move towards the halfway point of the season?
I just got to keep the head down and just keep plowing away at it, keep practicing, and it's a long season. Anything can still happen.
Absolutely, and we were missing half the field here today too. So again, when you throw 15 cars on the racetrack, that does massively change the way a race unfolds, and of course unfolds and happens around each driver as well. So hopefully we see all those drivers returning in round 5. Shout outs and thank yous, my man.
Just so the podium finishers, Rosen and Penelope, great race, guys, and all the guys who put it on, and yourself for hosting, and see everybody next week.
Absolutely, and I just want to send a special thank you out to the community and the admin staff and everybody behind the scenes here, not only at GTRC but GT45 Gaming. They have worked super hard to get us live here today for a live broadcast, and we wouldn't be live if it wasn't without our sim racing community. So today, the real heroes and the real winners is actually our community, because this wasn't going to be possible today without them. So much love and much thank you to the community out there doing all the hard work to make sure that we can still live broadcast even when the game isn't necessarily up to the standards we expect. So huge love to the community as well, and congratulations on a really great win, and I can't wait to see you next week in BMWs.
You sir. Have yourself a great evening.
You too. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we always appreciate all that time that our interviewees give us after the races. They are wore out, they're tired, they're sweaty, there's adrenaline pumping in some cases. They probably have lots on their mind. It's hard for them to get the right words out of their mouth sometimes. So really appreciate all our interviewees coming in right after the race to talk with us, you guys, the fans. And again, just, much love to the community. I've been stressing the last 72 hours since the updates came out and we realized how much of an issue we're having with live broadcasting. We've had to make some tough decisions and had to do some postponing in certain aspects and areas, which we're not going to talk about here right now because it doesn't affect this particular league. But the GTRC was going to opt just to continue to run via replay, but again, community came through big time here over the last couple of days, and this was not possible without the community, without the sim racing community in behind. So this broadcast belongs to you guys, the community. This one's because of you guys, the community, and thank you for being there for me when I needed you guys the most. So again, this is presented by the Gran Turismo racing community, the GTRC. Throughout the broadcast, throughout the graphics, there are Discord invites on the graphics. If you're interested and you want to learn more, or you want to try and get involved in this particular series, we do have openings and are always accepting new drivers and new fans in the Discord as well. We do have a good, thriving community over there at the GTRC community. Everybody is welcome, and we hope to see you all there. We'll be back next weekend for our BMW E30 series live at 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, and we're going to just continue on with what we have to work with from the game right now till they get this little bit of an issue sorted out. But for now, we're still live. We're still here bringing you all the action on your big screens as it happens from GT45 Gaming and all our respective partners. We love you. We appreciate you. Stay winning, everybody, and I really hope y'all enjoyed the 1080p today, because it looked like it went off pretty good. We love to hear that, Joe. We love to hear that, my dude. Yes, also side note, Pro-Am Lobby will be broadcast a little bit later today via replay. Our amazing broadcaster, Nolander Gaming, having a little bit of technical issue with some equipment. He went to sort all that out here today, was not able to get it live today, but he will bring that broadcast to us either later this evening or tomorrow from Nolander Gaming for our Pro-Am guys as well. So stay tuned for more racing from the GTRC yet this weekend. We love you all. We appreciate you all. We hope everybody enjoyed the racing here today. We cannot express how happy we are to be able to be here and bring this live to you guys today. And a little sigh of relief from the booth and GT45 Gaming. Thank you so much to the community, the GTRC, our sponsors, Apex Racing Team, and of course GT45 Gaming. Prix Graphics for all the amazing visuals. Much love to Miss Devious for that absolutely fire track map provided for this weekend's race. And I hope we all see you next weekend for our BW E30 series. Cheers, ta-ta for now, stay winning, and remember, you all matter.